Alrighty guys, today we are going to do a little worksheet comparing monocots and dicots. And you'll notice in here that there are some coloring aspects to it. We are not going to do the coloring portion of it because you were online doing this. So I'm going to read through it with you, and then I'm going to show you how to answer these 8 questions that are below. I'm going to answer my questions in a Word document instead of on here, simply because I can't actually type on here. So I'll start at the top. Both monocot and dicots develop in similar ways and have the same parts. There are a few minor differences. Monocots start out with 1 seed leaf, while dicots have 2. The technical word for seed leaf is cotyledon. You can find it on the coloring sheet. It is the first leaf to emerge from a developing seed. Color all the cotyledons A on the seeds dark green. As a seed, both monocots and dicots are covered by a seed coat. Color the seed coat B yellow. And I'll show you what you would have been coloring had you been in school. This is what the bottom portion of that worksheet looks like. You can see everything is labeled there for you. Again, you're not going to be worrying about any of this. I didn't even include it on the images that you guys are looking at as you read through here. The seed consists of the outside seed coat in a large area called the endosperm, which functions as a source of reserve materials and food for the developing embryo. As germination occurs, the endosperm will be broken down and used by the plants. Color the endosperm blue. Germination occurs when the seed begins to sprout. Usually in the spring and under appropriate conditions, the radicle, the part of the seed that will become the root, begins to elongate and grow downward. Meanwhile, the clodopile begins to grow upward. The clodopile is a sheath that encloses the shoot of the embryo. The primary function of the clodopile is to provide protection to the developing shoot as it is passing through the soil. Extending out from the clodopile is the shoot. Eventually, adult leaves grow on the plant. Angiosperms are divided into 2 classes, the monocots and the dicots. The majority of the flowering plants are dicots. Dicots include maples, oaks, and magnolias. Monocots are grasses, wheat, corn, and rice. Most of our food supply comes from monocots. The diagram compares the differences between the 2. So on our first question, let me move this just over there, it says to give 2 examples of plants that are monocots. So for number 1, I'm going to use this first paragraph right here, and I'm going to write grasses and wheats. You could have said corn or rice as well. Number 2 says to give 2 examples of plants that are dicots. I'm going to go with maples and oaks for that one. What is a cotyledon? We answered that one in the first section up here. It is a seed leaf. What is the radicle? It's number 4. Let's see, I know we hit clodopile down here. Did we hit radicle? We did. Germination occurs when the seed begins to sprout, usually in the spring and under appropriate conditions, the radicle, the part of the seed that will become the root. Part of the seed that becomes the root, you can see. All right, I have no idea if I'm actually saying that word right or not, but we'll go with it. Collodiopile. It's a sheath that encloses the shoot of the embryo. And what is the function of the endosperm? Did we get there yet? Oh, yes, we did. Endosperm will be broken down and used by the plant. So the seed consists of an outside seed coat and a large area called the which functions as a source of reserve materials and food. Number 7 is a table. Now, I believe we're going to have to finish reading in order to answer the table here. Let's see, I need to insert table. That's 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. How did I get 4? I don't know. Monocot, dicot. Okay. So the first thing we're looking for is the number of seed leaves. First of all, look at the roots. The root of a monocot is called a fibrous root, and the root of a dicot is called a taproot. Notice how taproots have one main part called the primary root. In a taproot, the primary root grows very large, and the small roots spread out from it. Fibrous roots, on the other hand, do not have very large primary roots, and many small roots develop from and remain near the surface. And here are the root systems. You can see the one, this is a taproot, has a big long primary root there. And the fibrous root doesn't really have a primary root, it kind of just all grows. Monocots and dicots differ in their leaf structure. Adult monocots usually have parallel veination, whereas dicots have net-like veination. For monocots, color the leaves green and the outside veins a darker green. The flowers of monocots and dicots differ in the number of petals they have. Monocots tend to occur in threes, dicots tend to have 4 to 5 petals. Stems fold up and attach the leaves. Monocots and dicots differ in the ways that their vascular systems are arranged. In monocots, the vascular bundles are scattered throughout the stem. In dicots, the vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. Okay, so number of seed leaves for a monocot. Mono means 1, di means 2. Next, we have type of veination. So if we're looking at the veins, monocots are parallel, and dicots, looking in the wrong section, should be down here. Dicots have a net-like. Next is number of flowers. So this is going to be in threes. This is going to be in 4 to 5s. Type of roots. These have a fibrous one, and these ones have a taproot. And then it asks for an example, which you could pick examples from up above. An unknown plant is brought to you, and your job is to determine whether it is a monocot or a dicot. You observe that the plant has 6 petals and its leaves have parallel veins. Is it a monocot or a dicot? So looking at our structure, our table here, we see that if it's in leaf or petals of 3, so 3, 6, 9, it would be monocot along with parallel leaves. All right, so that is it for the questions on this particular worksheet. Again, just do your examples. So we would come back up here, and here's your examples. I'm going to add a different one. I'll do, corn. Yeah, that was right there, corn. And for the dicot, I'll say it's a magnolia. All right, guys, have a good day.